Okay, so been thinking about the game of Go, right? As one does. And it occurred to me that when I was having a shower, we got it all wrong. Now, this is going to be a paradigm shift. All right, so hear me out. I might be wrong, I might be right. Let me just explain the situation, see how we go. We're told by everyone in the community that the game of Go is hard, and that is some of the reason why people get turned off because of the complexity of the game. It occurred to me, like I said, this is not the case. So the argument is, my thesis is the game of Go is not hard. The game is actually extremely easy. It's one of the most easy games that we can play, a bit above tic-tac-toe. There's essentially, 4 rules? Put a stone on the grid, get it surrounded, gets taken off. There's a rule, which is a bit more complicated. You can place anywhere, but you can't self-sacrifice, right? That's basically it. Counting is a little bit complicated and convoluted, but that's something you can do afterwards after you play the game. The playing of the game itself the rules are relatively simple. The reason why I say the game of Go is simple and not hard is because you're not playing a game of Go. Right? Hear me out. Okay, you're not playing a game of Go. You're sitting down with someone else of less, equal, or more strength than you, playing a set of rules that you both agree to, which you call the game of Go. So when you play against someone easy, but weaker, the game didn't just get easier. You're not playing the game, you're playing against the person, right? This is obvious, people know this, but just hear me out. When we see all these strong players online and through history and AI bots, and it biases our opinion on the game, thinking, oh, look how complicated it is, look how hard it is, I will never be able to get that strong, implying that the game itself is really complicated and you'll never get to that stage because the game is inherently complicated. But it's not. You're not playing against the game, you're playing against someone else's intelligence. So if you play against someone your own strength, the game has the capacity for all that complexity, but you're not exploring that space. You're exploring the space you can comprehend, which is about the same level as your opponent because it's equal strength, so the game is challenging. If you play against someone stronger, they have more access to all that extra complexity, and so we as players bias our opinions and think, oh, look how complex the game is. No, look how complicated their intelligence is. The game is simple. Put your stone anywhere on the grid, don't self-sacrifice, and count the score at the end. The game is simple. The intelligence is what makes it hard. And I think that slight paradigm shift is important, because now when I will introduce new players in the future, going from this point onwards, I'm not going to premise the game saying, oh, be aware this game is quite complicated. Of course it's going to be complicated if you get more complicated in your thinking, but it's only as complicated as your current intellect allows. So it's actually a simple game. It's a simple game that walks with you into the future. As you get better and better and better, it can hold your intellect and your insights and rewards you with your intelligence. But the game is not hard. The game is simple. The people you play are hard. And so I'm going to say to people, look, this is this game of Go. It's very simple. It's a simple game, actually. You play against someone your own rank, your own skill level. It can be quite rewarding, and you win some, you lose some. But be aware that this game allows you to develop into a very deep, rewarding, complicated game states. But the game itself is simple. So let's not scare people by saying the game is hard, because the game isn't. Like, chess is not a hard game if you're playing against new players. Tic-tac-toe is an extraordinarily simple game because our human intellect can hold the entirety of that game in our minds. Like, we are smarter than the complexity that game allows. So we go, oh yeah, that's actually a really simple game, and there's a simple algorithm you can do to always win, right? That's because we're smarter than what that game is capable of providing in its complexity. But Go and chess and other games like that, they are more complicated than what the human brain is capable of perceiving. So that means it doesn't matter how good you get, it's always going to have more depth. So that's a wonderful game to learn, right? That's why we get drawn to these games. It's always intriguing. The thing is, though, there are people who are just off the charts really good at these games. And then we compare ourselves to them, and what are they? 0.00% of the community. Like, they are like above, once you get above Dan 4, you're like, you're in a cohort of people that is very small. If you're sitting around 10Q in power, you're actually about the average intelligence in playing the game as the average Go player at a who plays it semi-regularly. Like, that's where humans kind of tap out. We're around a 10Q intelligence in this game as a casual player. Anything past that, you need dedicated study and a bit of obsession. But the game doesn't get harder, right? It allows you to dive deeper. The ocean is deeper, but it's not. It's not a more dangerous water, so to speak. So I just wanted to sort of hammer that idea out, because I don't think it's helpful in telling people that the game is hard, because it doesn't help players. It scares them. And I don't think it's even true, like I just iterated. The reason I was thinking about this is because as I was thinking about how Go may or may not be a hard game, I was thinking how, especially for younger people, you see really attractive models in our social media and the magazines, and that has an effect on one's self-esteem. You're seeing these top level attractive type phenotypes, and you think, oh, I'm not like that. But then you're comparing yourself against not only the most beautiful of people, but then they're also photoshopped to be even more unrealistic. And then we think that's the normal and what should be expected. And then when our self-esteem gets broken, and I think that's been shown quite demonstrably as being the case in scientific literature. And I feel the same paradigm is occurring within the Go community. We're comparing ourselves against the supermodels, and we think, oh, this game is hard and I don't want to do it because I can never get to that ideal. And that's not the case. And we can see how toxic these supermodels are to developing young people. And I think having this illusion that high Dan players are just like you, just if you just study a little bit harder, you could just be like that, and then we can't get there. We think, oh, well, it's no point. What's the point of playing? No, they are extraordinary, and they study hard, and they grind, and they grind, and they grind, and they really work hard. And not all of us are capable of doing that because of lifestyle, because of our inherent intelligence. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a gravelly voice right now. Interesting. But it doesn't mean you can't get better without playing the game more and pushing your limits. And on that point, if you don't play in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, if you play the same comfortable moves each time, you won't get better. You actually have to play moves that you feel that is beyond your scope of playing. This is like a truth, I think. If you do anything the same way every day, you won't excel at it. You need tutoring, you need to step out of your comfort zones, you need to study why it didn't work. And people don't have time for that in their lives often. They just want to play Go or they play chess and they don't grind it, and they don't study it. So if you have a way to review your games, even just up to the first move you make that was questionable, and just think, oh, look at that. I played a bit too close to those stones, or I allowed my stone to be cut, or I was too aggressive, or I was a bit too passive. That one bad move that AI is just like, nah, you shouldn't have done that. Just stop there. Stop your review at that first stone and try to address that next move next time that pops up in your game. Don't go through the whole review, because if you can't, if you're having trouble with your games, doing a full deep review is probably not going to help you, because it becomes overwhelming. Just a little bite every time. Little bite, little bite, little bite. Review the game when you win and when you lose. I do it routinely. I chuck my game into an AI that reviews it, and it will click. I can set to what level of play I want it to review at, and it will tell me where my bad move was. In fact, I think I might just bring that up now. Is it GoQuest? No, it's not GoQuest. It's this one here. So this app here, it's amazing. You bring up a game, and it'll say, here it goes, what level do you want your game to be reviewed at? I chuck it at 1 Dan. Whoop. And in this particular game, I was playing against a 9Q, and I was a 6Q in this game. And you can click through, and so each time I see I'm black, I played the correct one, he played correct, and I can see D was in the scope of what AI likes. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. He plays B, I play B, and he played B, I played A. So so long all my moves are roughly A's and B's, and there's another A there, and he played a 10, so he was slightly off. So this is where he would stop the review and go, oh, maybe I was a little bit too close to that stone. Maybe I should have stepped back. We keep going. I played the C. He played again. He probably shouldn't have kicked me. He should have played a B. Again, stop review there for him and think, oh, why would a kick not work there? And why would playing a B be better? And so you can have a look, chuck it on top. And if you did play it on top, this is what the recommended play for black would be. And you can see how it highlights the screen in red. They are areas that you need to be thinking about. So this is how you sort of read the heat map. So that's why A is like, go there. And you can see the top left-hand corner is also going a bit red. So a move up there in the future might be important too. But anyway, I played A again. So I just keep going through until I find my first questionable move. Ding, ding, ding. And there it is. So I played 21. And the AI is like, oh, you should have played A. And A was the only option. Like on the entire board, there was no other, nothing else. There was this, you should only play A. So this is not up for debate. This is not like, oh, you could play this or could play that. No, the AIs are saying, no, you need to have played A at a critical point, and I didn't play it. And so I look at it, and I play it, and I go, okay, what could have happened? Well, he would then pincer my move, and then I take the stone, and then he saves a cut. I'm like, okay, so what do I do with those 2 stones? I let him die, and I play towards that gap. And that's the a better play method. Instead, I played 21, he played down, and then I played this atrocious move of 23, which kind of made it really hard. That's how I review my games, and I don't go too deep. And it's really helpful. It's really, really good. Also, another one I like using is every single day I wake up and I play the Tsumigo challenges. You get 5 every day, and I just go through and I go, okay, how do we do this? Bang, bang, and that was a mistake. And then if I make a mistake, I always review and I go, okay, what should I have done? Because if I went there, what can he do? Oh, right, he can get the bottom mark point there. I rushed it. All right, go back, revert. So connect that, he connects there, takes that I, done. And I do this in the morning, every single morning. Again, mistake. And I look, why was that a mistake? Because normally if you play in a mirror spot, it's good. And that was bad again. So you get the point. I do those every morning, and I study, and it's fantastic. So, is the game Go hard? No, it doesn't have a hardness. If anything, it's easy. And beyond that, it's just finding people who are your skill level. I'll leave it at that, and let's enjoy our games going into the future.